Johnson, and this is focused on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmas, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Ooh. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday. Focus on.
Okay, everybody, hi, Mr. Mamba. You are in Morovia, and today we're going to be discussing the protest that happened today. We want to understand what was the purpose, aims, and objectives of the protest, whether the protest achieved its goals. We want to understand all of that. So we want to hear from you to give us the rundown of the purpose of the protest.
Thank you. Let me say good morning from my end. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone following, wheresoever you follow me from. Again, my name is Jeremiah Moba. I'm focused on Liberia, reporter based in Monrovia. Uh, I'm one of the reporters that covered the much publicized protest. That's the July 17th protest. When I said much publicized, I meant to say because there have been too many publicity. Month ago, the Liberian media community, they were outreach, there were press conferences, people moving from one community to community, mobilizing to ensure that they had that protest on yesterday. So on yesterday, which was on Thursday in Liberia, um, normally uh, protests in the country, especially I want to do a comparison with the June 7th protest that was being staged in Liberia as well. This protest was quite different because um, we saw people doing their normal businesses. Most of the places we went, We saw stores, we saw shops open, we saw market women. It was just like the normal days in Liberia where people usually go and do their activity. That's what happened today here. But just to tell you some of the reasons from the organizers of the protest, some of the things they listed. They talk about the issue of rampant corruption. That was the allegation, one of the allegations that they raised. According to them, the Bwaka Kun administration is corrupt. There have been too many corrupt practices. They also talk about the president, having frequent travels, using the country resources. They also talk about some of the government officials, uh, earning more money while other officials of government are not doing that. One specific person they referred was Patrick Honda. He represent one of the commissioners at the LTA. According to them, he made lots of money, especially his generator, the generator he used home, got more money than some of the employees of government as well. And one of the things they listed, they want the president to take immediate action on the inspector general of the police. They want the police inspector general Gregory Como to be dismissed. According to them, there have been lots of brutality against citizens, and they also talk about the issue of death, uh, death in the country. Lots of citizens, have died due to police brutality, due to lots of things happening in the country as well. So among them, those were like the main things, they were like that they raised in their petition. But like I said, it was like a normal activities here. People were doing their normal thing. The only thing that I observed was the issue of transportation, because we couldn't find more vehicles in the street, especially commercial taxi. We couldn't see that in Central Monrovia, and that was due to um, the protester, because they use the main route coming through Capitol building, where more often you have the vehicle paths to come to the Broad Street and other areas for transportation. So most of the drivers were like, say, I can't waste my time to go, to doing anything like commercial riding or anything. So most of them like stay home and other places today. So that was what I really observed on the protest. But like I said, it was normal. The protesters gathered at the grounds of the Capitol. Uh, they, they they were chanting slogans. Government corrupt, governments like this, government like that, and and one of the good things that happened was the how well the police were organized. Yes, how well the police were organized under the watch of Gregory Coleman. The police, you can't imagine how the police treated the protesters. The protesters were fair. I saw lots of food being distributed to 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 hungry protesters. Those protesters that were hungry was being fed by the Liberian National Police. They were giving water. They were giving care. The police were just in their midst, ensuring that the right things are done. There was nothing like brutality. Oh, don't do this. Oh, we will beat you with this thing. No, no, no. We did not observe things like that. It was just like uh, the normal friendship. Police were even uh, relating more with the protesters. So they gather. But one of the disappointing things was that the petition was not being submitted because at the onset their plan was the president. They wanted to present a petition to the president himself, and the president did not attend. The president had another engagement at the ministerial complex, so the president did not attend to receive the petition, and we had a chair um, for claims and petition at the House of Representative, Maserati County District 8 representative who also came to receive the petition. But I was being informed that they did not present the petition because they already have that plan that they wanted the president himself to receive, uh, maybe a representative out of a minister of the government or someone else. But the usual procedure could be uh, the person who chairs claims and petition at the lower house could be the best person to receive that petition and onward submit it to the requisite authority. But I've been told they did not submit their petition as well. But they issue an ultimatum to the government. They gave the government, the Unity Party government, 2 weeks, that is 14 days, to ensure that all of those issues they are raised can be adequately addressed by the government. So the head of that group, Stan Mobile Molu, in fact, it was a collaboration. You have Stan, you have the CDC. The CDC was the ring leader of the group. Yeah, they were even more as compared to members of the civil society group we call STEM. So more people thought that STEM was an advocacy group talking about some of the things that happen in the country. They could address that, but what people saw today was that STEM is no more advocacy group but political group, maybe an arm of the CDC, as you may recall that the current leader of STEM once served
Thank you, Jerry.
the CDC as chairperson Mobile Mulu. So
Uh,
leaving the CDC and going to establish a civil society
Thank you,
group.
Jerry.
thank
Let-
you. Thank you for that.
yeah, we'll get more from you, but let's get a
Uh,
reaction, from Dr. Amos and Alice on your reaction to today's protest. Let's start with Dr. Amos.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for having me and the rest of the guests. But let me say this: uh, there is no dividend in staging a protest of disobedience or a protest to destabilize the smooth operation of government. Whenever you do that, all you are inviting is disengagement. And for Liberia to show itself as a little boy on world stage, it is very disheartening. And furthermore, Liberia, we're not small children. By this time, we should have learned what protestation means and what it does. It destabilizes lives of many people, and that in itself has caused Liberia to be further backwards today than what it should be. So, to me, the proponents of this protest had not thought these things through, because the same document that they say that Boca should have received could have been given directly to him in a different forum. And secondly, is that if you talk about rampant corruption, my God, my God, the previous administration was known for its rampant corruption, and to try to tag Barkai's government, who is only in office for less than 1 year, to me is a disservice to our nation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ama. Um, as he explained all of these things, my mind was running so fast as we are here to compare the previous administration to this administration, like you rightly said. But I'm going to take a step back. First of all, as Liberian citizens, anybody has a right, it's part of their democratic right to protest.
Mhm.
So I have no issue with that. But looking at the people that are making a protest is something really, really surprising because 6 years ago, they were in authority and they
Correct.
not do anything because anybody who is a leader that cannot go for second term mean you did very poorly. So they
Certainly.
should be embarrassed to get in the street and want to protest for things that they failed to do. You see? So I'm sure maybe I'm thinking that they probably wanted to show the number, which is not relevant because we're not trying to show who got a biggest size, but what do you achieve when you get in the streets? And the Liberian people, like he said, majority of them went about their normal business. They were doing their, finding their food to eat. Because looking at everything that they listed here, when they were in authority, you find the police at the city hall carrying guns. Those were things that they were not supposed to be doing. You're talking about corruption, traveling. Who traveled the most? When the president at that time used to take the national resources and go on private business, watch his son play football, do all these things. And you today you are coming to complain about the same things. So it's kind of laughable. Like I said, maybe they were in a street to show the big size. They got more group of people to follow them. But the real issues that they want to address should have been addressed when they were in power. But they failed to do that.
Correct.
So, Mr. Malu, Mr.
More.
Malu, yeah,
Yeah.
Marba. Okay, so what was the feeling? Because I saw some of the protesters wearing masks. So what are they trying to hide?
Most of those you saw wearing masks are employees of government. Uh, they are one way or the other, working into some of the ministries and agencies. So they were like afraid, maybe their face and being shown, in the camera. Their bosses could have some issue with them. That's why you saw most of them wearing the mask on their faces. Yeah, bulk of them are employees of the government.
Thank you very much. Dr. Pearson, thank you for joining us tonight. What we are discussing is the protest that took place today in Liberia. We want to know what was achieved, what was the purpose of the protest, and did it really, was it necessary in the first place? What do you think?
Thank you for having me today, Sis Alice. And hi to uh, Dr. Is that Amos?
Amos,
Amos,
yeah.
right. Amos.
Amos, it's a pleasure meeting you today. And Moba,
Thank
my first time seeing you. It's a pleasure. Okay, it's a
Thank,
pleasure.
thank
And
you,
hi
sir.
to all our friends out there in the social media space. Thank you. Yeah, I know I just came on because I'm from work, but I did hear the program when you were all starting to hear openings. And I think in any democratic society, yeah, it is the fundamental right of citizens to exercise their freedom of speech and expression and to peacefully assemble if they want to petition their government, and because the government is elected by the people. Having said that, I think that what I saw today is a healthy sign of our own democracy. It's something we should appreciate. That the fact that we're able to see people get in the streets and express themselves freely without being intimidated or harassed, as we've seen in the past, and they were able to do what they went there to do, and walk away without any major incidents on both sides. I think it's something we should commend
Mhm.
both the government of Liberia under President Boykai and the organizers of the protest. Well, the detail of that entire event, I think we can have a conversation around that. But I think it was highly necessary, given the trajectory our country is already on.
Thank you very much. So one of the things that they demand during the protest was to have Gregory Coma, who is the guy at the police, to
IG.
be IG of the police, to be dismissed. What do you think? I mean, at the same time, we are hearing that the same police was able to give them food to eat, water, and all of that. So how do we process that?
I think the Liberian people have never seen before, especially in my lifetime, or an IG or director of police or what have you, that work alongside of the people, is willing to take into consideration the plight or the concerns of those citizens that would assemble themselves peacefully to voice their disagreement or disgruntlement with government. That's, as everyone have agreed, that's their right. And this IG has done a tremendous amount of goodwill towards the citizen. In fact, I had proposed at one time that if I were to ever become president, that I would give the police a raise, not because they are nice people, but their position and the service that they perform should say to them that we appreciate what you're doing, and therefore here is a better salary to make, because we know that you have children and home to take care of like everybody else, but they get a double, so to speak, responsibility. Number one is that they must safeguard the smooth operation of the streets, so that everybody can walk in the street without having to be harassed or be bombarded by those who will try to cause mayhem. Now, all of the work hasn't yet been done under this IG. He just got started. Okay, there's still people in the streets that are snatching people's purses and robbing people and what have you. So those things are going to take some time for you to for them to be abated. But right now, we do have an IG who sees the interest of the people and wants to do something that resembles that of a first world nation rather than a third world nation in chaos. And I believe that those people that protested today would have preferred the latter. They wanted to see chaos. They wanted to see the police beating people up so that it would get on the news internationally. But the police themselves comported themselves well. And
Right.
so, as someone has already said, they should be congratulated for what they have done. And of course, if Moba Molu, I mean Molu Moba had come up with the numbers as they were proclaiming that they were going to get 45,000 people, had they had 45,000 people out there today, which I think would have been disastrous, then they would have been able to have bragging rights to say we can summon the Liberian people anytime at will and will come in the street. And watch out, because the next time we summon them out, we will tell them to destroy. That is a possibility. I'm not saying that's what they will do. But the harm is that if that happens, you are hurting your own self. You are hurting your country. You are making everybody in the country look bad. And to do something like that says or questions what is your priority and what is your patriotism, excuse me, toward your nation in which you were born.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just to do an addition to what he's saying. The police RG have always said that he is bringing a different dynamism to the police. He want to change the culture of the police, the mindset of the police. The way back police, where people used to think the police is a partisan police, the police is just for a special group of people. He said no. Just before the protest, the build up to the protest, few officers of the Liberian National Police were being suspended with all pay due to some unprofessional acts that were being carried on. And he said he meant that because at the build up the protest, most of the police officers were seen singing some songs, behaving in a kind of rebel way ahead of the protest. So he was telling them,
Immorally, too.
yeah, immorally. He was telling them, this is not the kind of police that we need. It's not the kind of police that will go on the protest ground and start to beat on the citizens. We don't need that kind of police in our system. So few of them were being suspended for unprofessional acts. Yeah.
Yes. And to add up to that, there was a protest held on Independence Day in Liberia, where the police, some of them were acting as partisans when they beat up the university students. There
Right.
were police in a group that were not acting like state agents are supposed to be protecting lives and properties of everybody, regardless of political affiliation. So we saw clearly that they were doing otherwise. They were right there when people were being beaten and basically just play a blind eye. So if a police IG was that stern, it means that he's bringing changes that other people might find offensive because of their past affiliation or because of partisans role that they are playing currently. So yeah. Dr. Pearson, what do you think? The police director, you think he's supposed to be fired? He's not doing his job like
You
he's
know,
supposed to?
thank you, Alice. Alice, I know I'm listening to some of my panelists here, and I'm wondering which police force you people talking about. Is it a
Liberia?
new police? Do we have a new police force in Liberia now? Do we, is the IG Gregory Coleman you were talking about different from the IG Gregory Coleman who sent police for the first time in the Capitol building and by the doors of our budget while it was being discussed at behind the door, and an illegal budget was passed in the House of Representatives? Is that the same police IG who sent police to the Capitol building and they beat on lawmakers at the Capitol building? Is that the same police we're talking about? Is that the same Gregory Coleman we're talking about who has his men tear gas our children when they try to walk to the Capitol building to tell the police to give them access to the lawmakers so they can talk about the rule of law being violated? I don't understand which police force you're talking about. You know, look, let us not be a fool by the politics of the day that because some of us, and especially FOL and others, are advocating to see some sanity in our country, that everything is okay within that police force. No, it's not, right? You don't have to go far to see it. Just a day ago, other people were brutalized again for trying to stand up and speak for their jobs. So what we're talking about? So I don't see Gregory Coleman as not being an anti or not anti, but not being a partisan police director. Gregory Coleman is indeed a partisan police director. We know from the incidents of the fire at the Capitol building as well, besides of the brutalization of lawmakers. So let us I would say, when I mentioned that I commend them today, is because yes, we advocated for, even though some of us were at work, but we remain engaged in the happenings in Liberia as we always do, and we put them on notice. And when we saw things that were not going the right way, we sent out in our own weak way contacts information to say, look, we're seeing this is not right. We're seeing this other stuff is not that's happening, is not proper. And they were able to understand that the eyes of the community, the international community, other Liberians outside have their eyes on them. So let us not be fooled. Have we not been vocal enough to call for the rights of the people to be respected? Today it would have been a different scenario, right? So
Yeah,
let us not imagine that the Gregory Coleman we see today is different from the Unity Party Gregory Coleman we saw when they were trying to undermine the speakership of the House of Representatives. That's not true.
Alice, can I come in?
Yes, come in, come in.
The good doctor rightfully pointed out the fault of any human nature. If you look at my five fingers, all of them are not equal, which means that there are times we will be bad and at the time we will be good. Now, when the time the man's good, you can't say, oh, he always bad. You got to give him credit for doing what is right. Perhaps, maybe he will see this as the model to go forward. But if we're always picking on someone and always decrying them or deriding them or always talking about the negative rather than positive, then what kind of society are we ourselves? Now, it is well and good to point out his faults. There's nothing wrong with that. But point them out so that he will learn from them and not do the same thing. So perhaps this time, especially down that you got a president who might have said or spoken to him, look, I do not want the same things to happen as have happened in the past, and I want us to move forward in a direction that will represent us well in the international community. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody have their fault. No one is perfect, but at least when a man does do something that is right, let's give him credit. I myself, when I saw we had do something wrong, I spoke about it. But I love we had, as a small brother, So as much as I loved him, I also have to point out his idiosyncrasies and which means his differences in his attitude, or behavior. So let's not fool ourselves and say that the man is all bad or he's all good. No one is.
Thank you very much. One of the things that they talk about, that they want to see happen, is independent audit and criminal investigation of the National Security Agency, the NSA, Ministry of Public Works, Liberia Water and Sewer, and the Liberia Oil Refinery, Petroleum Refinery Company, and the NPA, National Port Authority, Land Semis. So they want investigation, independent investigation. Let's talk about the NSA. Why do you think people want investigation at this point? What is going on? Do you have any idea what might be running in their mind?
If no one wants to say something at this point, and I understand, but let me try a little bit and say this: the you we're what we're noticing here is a rebirth, so to speak, of the Liberian society. Whereas before it was a type of corruption that went unchecked and unabated. Now you have a president who said, "Wait a minute, hold up. You can't put $150,000 car on the street and think it's going to go without being anything being said about it. You can't go ahead and hold people's salary, and then you keep it to yourself and say it is your money. You can't go out and say you're representing Liberia, and when you get the funds, that doesn't come home to the people, but it goes into your account. So we there's a different type of deminism on the ground. The boy guy, I'm not saying that his administration is perfect. Again, as I said, no one is. But these various agencies that are doing things that are counterproductive. That let's see what's going to happen, because my belief is that he's going to be calling them in one by one on the carpet and say, "This is what you did. I don't like it," or if it happens again, you will really get my wrath. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that we seem to be experiencing a change in our society regarding the way people have operated before in government. Buckeye is looking for people in government that are honest, reputable for doing what is right, and so on and so forth. And if we begin to just, once again, as I said earlier, to just decry the wrongdoings, perhaps will miss the baby by throwing out the baby with the bathwater. So in this case, with NoCal being called, I hope that if anything is found that is irregular and not the norm, that person will be fired from the job and defy the next person to do it again. Because if I was president, that's exactly what I would do. I would say, and
Thank,
anybody else who wants to try it and steal the people's money, you will have me to answer to.
thank you, Dr.
Thank
Amos.
you.
Let me jump in quickly. The protesters listed about 11 of those demands. Let's talk about one of them. Before we even go through with all of them, are their demands legitimate? Are we saying, are we trying to shoot the messenger instead of the message? So let's look at that. Do they have a point here? Or are we saying, okay, you were there before, you didn't do anything, so shut up? I want us to start off from there. Let me start with Jerry.
Yeah, CEO, I would say yes, their demands are legitimate because this is going to help the government as well. There are things that are ongoing in the country. Maybe the government might not know. Other people who are watchdogs, of the society will try to bring them up. So these are things they have noticed, or somebody might have told them. So these are things that they try to raise. So for me, it's legitimate. They have concerns, but with the entire thing about the audit, the entire thing about the corruption issues, that they raise, I think this is something that the president is interested in. President Baga is interested in those things because we can see that the president started taking some strong measure by suspending people who have been alleged of corrupt practices, who have been found guilty of corrupt practices in the country. So you can see that this is not something that the president is going to joke with. So those concerns, if they are legitimate, the president going to institute folks to ensure that investigation will be set up, and those who will be found guilty, the president going to take action. He's noted for that, and we can see that happening in the country.
And I will come to you next, Clarence, but let me go to Alice first because Alice, you talk of the NSA. You know, former President they were using the NSA like a cash cow. They send money there, but because nobody knows, you can't audit. They will say, "Hey, it's for covert action," so nobody is auditing them. You know, so and I think the current government has even surpassed the amount that has been funneled through the NSA. It's like you put any money in the NSA, they can audit you because it's for covert operation. We don't have to know it can be audited. So when President Bouakai came into office, he said he was going to audit the NSA and they should be audited. Later on, he backpedaled. He said, "No, we can't do it." It's like somebody told him, "This is the eating place for everybody." So my question to you is: are we looking at Momba Molu because or the CDC, or are we looking at what they are saying? It appears that today people are more concerned about who is doing the protest than what the protesters are asking. Your take.
Well, I'm looking at everything in totality. I'm looking at the messengers who's giving the message and the message. Some of the things they are asking are legitimate, and some of them to me are not. Because if you are in charge and not doing what you are supposed to do and get kicked out, and somebody is there doing a good job or something near a good job, because the corruption was rampant. And we see that the current government is fighting corruption, even though in some cases, some people are not being reprimanded, but he's doing his best. One of the things he's doing also is the road construction that they had the opportunity to do and never did. So if somebody else is there, then people have eyes to see what is wrong. And that's why I started talking about the messenger. But yes, some of the things they are asking, some of the things from the messenger are in place.
Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Scarlett Dukley. But Dr. Pearson, let me come to you because what I'm hearing from Jerry and also Alice is, hey, President Bouakai is doing these things already, or at least they are steps. They didn't do them. President Bouakai is doing them. So why are they complaining? Do you buy that?
Thank you. I'm sitting, I'm listening, I'm wondering whether we're still talking about the same Liberia, because um, uh, for me and how I see the protest today, I do not see.
Dr. Pearson, I'm not hearing you. Is it just me?
Can you hear me, right?
Yeah, we hearing you.
We can hear you.
Right. So when I look at the
Dr.
protest
Pearson.
today, and from the beginning of the entire planning of this protest, I do not see the Congress for Democratic Change. I do not see the Alternative National Congress. I do not see the new party called CMC. I do not see NPP. No, I don't see these political parties. The last time that I saw a demonstration that was led by political parties, I saw the likes of Bena Yuri from ALP. I saw President Boycott from UP. I saw what is his name? Curtis Cummings from ANC, and I saw all of the political parties leaders on a platform projecting themselves and calling the partisans up for a demonstration. Now, I didn't see that this time around. What I saw, and I can refer to, and it's quite clear, is that the suffering of our people is visible. It's genuine. It's real. I'm not sure whether those of us who are on this line that are living abroad can admit yet that you have not had a volume of requests for assistance that is more than you have received before. If you can sit on this platform and tell me that the hardship in the country and the demand that has placed on you outside the country, who your family depend on you, has not increased, then put your hands up. You take the microphones to the communities, you take the microphones to the marketplaces, you take the microphone in the highways and the byways. The people are telling you that their lives are miserable. So there is no argument that the hardship of the people is not an issue here. I think what we should be discussing here is that how can President Boyka take the issue of the Liberian people serious? I don't want to hear President Boyka is fighting corruption. President Boyka had corruption to deal with when Grace Bay took the first $500,000 from NASCO that he did not even allow him to account for. The inauguration fund that the internal audit agency was auditing. President Boyka did not give us that report of the audit of the inauguration fund. Today, he just told us the program was a success, and that was it. We have now heard about major issues of corruption. Now, let's go to the list. Two things that were just mentioned quickly. The first two, the issue about dismissal of the IG. I think the very day that police walk into the Capitol building and barricade the door that my representative could not go to be a part of the budgetary discussion that decided the fate of my district, he should have been dismissed immediately. He should have been dismissed immediately. So what are we saying here? The next thing I want to just mention quickly, NSA. Let me give a disclaimer. Of course, my cousin was the NSA director before now, and he now at the era of the passport division. And Henrik Pearson. So I understand why NSA cannot be audited. We have had a conversation here myself before. I understand why LPRC and LWSC and NPA cannot be audited. I understand all of that because there is mass level of corruption taking place at these institutions. What is the percentage of the budget of 2023, 2024, 2025 that have been supported by the institution, generating the highest amount of revenue from our most important areas of income into our country? Where are the contributions? The finance minister have just complained that the support to the budget is not forthcoming. Where is it? We've had two deficits in our revenue collection for Q1 and Q2. We are now in deficit in our national budget. Where is the money? So yes, these institutions should be audited, and we should know what these guys are doing with these monies, and then we compare it against the fabulous homes that they are now building in the country, and there are pictures to that.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Douglas, let me bring you in the conversation here. There was a protest today, and we saw that they have 11 demands. And what's your take? Because many are saying, that they have the right to protest. In fact, their demands are some of the things that they are asking for, they are legitimate, but they are not the right persons to say it. If Momba Molu or the CDC, and their reason is, hey, you were there, what did you do? So if Momba Molu or CDC is not protesting, who will?
Well, this is, I think, there are two issues that I see here. One is the constitutional issue. These people are Liberians, and the Constitution guarantees their right to express themselves and to assemble in whichever manner that is prescribed by the Constitution. That's their right. Now, the other thing is their demands. You see, from what I gather, I don't know how accurate it is what I was told, but it seems like it was this gathering or this demonstration was predominantly CDC and their sympathizers. If that is the case, then really they have no ground to stand on because they were just voted out of office. So yeah, they might have legitimate demands or but it has no political validity simply because they were in charge of the nation and they were driven out. And the only reason they were driven out because they did not meet the expectations of the Liberian people. And so, I mean, this is one of the things that I think is wrong with our body politics in Liberia. It's almost like when people are in opposition, they give themselves, the authority to do whatever comes to their mind to embarrass the government that succeeds them. And we saw Unity Party did the same thing to CDC, and now, but I think CDC is in this particular instance, they have no relevance because all the things that they are demanding were things that they should have done themselves when they were in power. So they have no legitimacy to these claims. I totally concur with my sister Alice when she said that the message and the messenger, I mean, they don't align. And so, um, yeah, they have the right to assemble, that is guaranteed by their constitutional right. They can get, just like anybody can assemble. But you see, what is driving all of this is the dismal performance of the Unity Party government. And sometimes when I listen to, I go on these social media platforms, and I wonder whether what I see and hear on these platforms is the same Liberia that we are talking about, or is the same Liberia that we are always are trying to improve. Because I listen to Unity Party partisans, they speak as if to say, it's not the Liberia that you and I know. It's not the Liberia that you and I see declining. Go to any market or any public place in Liberia and ask them whether their lives is better now or when the CDC was in power, and hear what they will tell you. 99% will tell you their life is worse now than it was when CDC was in power. This only speaks to how declining the country is. And so, really, as much as we are in agreement that Joseph Barker is not doing well, that message should not be coming from CDC because they have no justifiable position to claim all the things that they are claiming.
But Mr. Ducle, those who have the justifiable position are not talking.
Pardon me?
The LPP is not demonstrating. The ANC is not demonstrating. Does that mean to them things are okay? So if the CDC is not stepping up, who's going to do it? Unless you're saying their claims are not legitimate.
Yeah, I mean, when I say the claims are not legitimate, they have just been voted out of power.
So what?
And the reason why they were voted out of power was were for some of the very thing that they are now asking the Unity Party government. And so for that reason, their demands have no legitimacy. Now, and that's it. That's some of the thing that is wrong with Liberian politics. Just because the other political party were not party to this demonstration doesn't mean they are in agreement to the Unity Party government. Maybe there were things that went on prior to this demonstration that they were not in favor, or there were agenda they wanted to present, and the organizer did not. I mean, we don't know the reason why some of these political parties did not join the CDC party. So, from our vantage point, I don't know, and so I can't really comment as to why they didn't join the CDC. But overall, the message would have been the same, anyways. Was the message going to be different if other political party had joined them? I doubt it.
Thank you.
So the fact that those other party were not part of it doesn't give them any validity in terms of their claims they're making. So it doesn't really matter, Mr. Dennis. So
Thank you.
I mean, it just our politics has become two-party politics where the CDC and the Unity Party, they both try to do things to one another to score political points. And if you remember, this is the
Thank you,
same
Ducle.
thing the Unity Party was doing when CDC was in power. So I mean, where
Thank
is
you.
this? Where is this leading us to? It's leading us to nowhere. We are we are
Thank you.
we are in a
Thank
place
you.
where we need to rethink our politics because listen, Liberia can't be beholden to Unity Party and CDC. There has to be some drastic changes. I mean, we know what the issues are. We know what needs to be done to deal with these issues, and none of these two parties are prepared and are able to deal with these issues.
Thank you. And that's a very critical point, right? And Dr. Amos, let me come to you there because it seems that the country is being played by CDC and Unity Party. Because just yesterday, it was the Unity Party on the outside doing all these demonstrations. They had the CPP, they had these protests, Save the State, June 7th, December 30th. In fact, there was this retire living, retire suffering, all these different protests. They were being supported. Mo Ali, uh, Darius DeLong, and Henry Costa, they were the big three for June 7th, right? So at that time, protest was all good in the eyes of Unity Party.
Hey, Yaka
It
Kwaluba.
was all bad in the eyes of the CDC. Today, the tables are turned. Unity Party does not think protest should go on. CDC and the sympathizers think protest is the best thing that ever happened. So we Liberians, so it's just between CDC and Unity Party, whoever is in power, they are protecting themselves. What about us, the citizens? Right? Don't we see that the two parties may just, as one guy put it, uh, the two sides of the same coin here?
I guess that is directed to me, Dennis.
Yes, Dr. Amos.
Uh, here is what we need to observe, and I think Alice hit the nail. Are we discontented with the message or the messenger? Now, if it is the messenger, we have the right to vote that person out of the country. But if it is the message, messages have a way of lingering on for a very long time. In fact, the show that came on before we did stated and talked about the education of the Liberian society. Not only was it concerned about the form of education, but it was also concerned about the type of societal education that people need to be able to be schooled about things that happen in the society. Like you don't take bath in the public because it doesn't look good. That's an example. Perhaps it's a poor one, but I'm just giving it to you that way. The fact of the matter is that we have to understand that we got a country, a nation that has 5 billion people. And in 2035 is going to be 10 million people. If we do not take the bull by its horn right now and begin to put people in offices that has the heart of the nation, Liberia will forever be at the lowest end of the totem pole. So we need to sit down and strategize. What is the message that we want as Liberians to put forward so that even the generation after us will thank us and stand upon our shoulders and congratulate us for what we're doing. Right now, our society is divided, and a divided nation cannot stand. But this is the working time. This is the suffering time. Anybody you ask in we administration, they say we're suffering. Oh, anybody ask in the Buckeye administration, they say we're suffering. Oh, so what's the difference? The difference is the message ain't working, and we need to come up with a whole different paradigm or a paradigm shift in order that it would include the message in such a way that will practice it on a daily basis. No wonder China closed its borders, I believe, 25 to 50 years. I can't remember the exact number. But they closed their borders, and what they did was to re-energize, re-emphasize, and reclaim the high ground. And look where it is today. When Buckeye went to America, And someone said, what you doing when you sit in America and you don't know the dynamics on the ground? When Buckeye went to America, two things happened. Buckeye was trying to be, and I hate to use this word slick, but Buckeye was trying, that old school, he was trying to be submissive in a way to gain what he could. On the other side of the coin, people saw him as being too submissive and saying yes, sir. But there are times that we have to be both submissive, and there are times that we have to be also standing tall. You know, what did man name Kenny Rogers say? You got to know when to hold him, and you got to know when to fold, and you know what time to run away.
Dr. Amos,
Yeah.
my question is, I mean, are the two parties just playing us? Because what was
Well,
wrong
well,
today is right today.
from the outlook, someone can take the position that we're being played. But the only reason why we're being played is because we keep focusing in on the messenger. And as long as we focus in on the messenger and I understand what the message is, will be played.
What's the response from the government? I mean, we saw the police, and you talk about feeding the protester, but was there a message from the government as to what they make of the protest today?
Well, the government always want to have a
Yeah,
peaceful type of protest. All governments would. Now, Boga could have gone out there and told the police to beat everybody up and send them home. It would have been chaotic, and people would have had some animosity against him. So he took the high ground at this time and did what he has to do. Will there be another
eh,
time that could come up where Molu
yeah.
Molu
Thank you, Dr.
Moba?
Amos. The question for Jerry. I was asking Jerry.
Oh, I'm
What,
sorry. Okay.
yeah, Jerry, what was the government response? Did President Bouakai speak? Because I also saw that people were comparing, oh, it was during the weird time that they beat up Christopher Waters Sisuli, and the government did not, and it was under the CDC government, they didn't do anything about it. Hello, the Bouakai government came to power, and Christopher Waters Sisuli, now in exile, was expecting that the Bouakai government would pick up his case, and that did not happen. So my question to you is, what is the Bouakai government? What was the president's response, or through the Minister of Information, was there any response from the government to the protest?
Well, I can say there there hasn't been an official response yet from the government. But the president, like I said earlier, the president attended a program today at the ministerial complex. So while speaking, the president acknowledged that yes, he is aware of people protesting his speech. He acknowledged that in a joking, manner. He said, "Oh, I'm aware people are protesting against me. They are saying this, Bugger are criminal, all kinds of things in a joking manner like that." But the government has not really come up with an official response to the protesters' concern.
Yeah.
But schools of government official on the various Facebook pages, some were just commending the police for showing that everything went on smoothly. There wasn't any form or act of brutality. The protest went well.
Right. Do you see, is the president being dismissive of the people's concern by his laughter?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure. The president the president acknowledged that protest was ongoing, and he's aware of that. Like I said,
Or
the
is he
president.
acknowledging the issues that they are having with his government?
Yes, that's from the speech, from the little point he made. I can say yes. He acknowledging that, and he's a listening president. I'm sure he gonna respond officially uh, to the protester because he already got an ultimatum of 14 days, 2 weeks to respond to the claims. So I think the president going to respond officially.
Thank you. Dr. Pearson.
There are a couple of things that we should make clear here, right? When we're talking about protest, I keep hearing people trying to make it sound like political parties are agitating because they want to get back to power. Well, why people may have political intents and interest in any popular uprising in a protest faction is a true to the fact. But let me say this: if the lives of the people are better, they will not go in the streets, no matter who called them there. They wouldn't go there, right? If the lives of the people and the living condition and opportunities are there for them to have a better healthcare, better education, better housing, food on the tables, they can pay their children school fees, they can pay their rent, they can send themselves to a better restaurant to eat like government officials are doing, like more ID them. There will be nobody agitating in the streets and run. But listen, I supported that protest today, not because I'm a citizen. No, I'm not even a UP partisan. Now that makes another thing clear here. There is no political party in Liberia that ascend to the presidency because of their party votes alone. Out of the except for that of Charles Taylor in 1997, who won a popular vote from his NPP party. Every other political party either had an alliance in the first round or the second round. They had some form of collaboration to get the votes that they needed. So it's not about one party or two parties. No one party can win. A web ballot in Liberia. It's not going to work. No. But let me say this, right, Dennis. I want to make this very clear. President Boakai and the likes of his government officials that I see now and today, they are not concerned about the plight of the Liberian people. President Boakai literally today at the ministerial complex were making jokes of the protest. President Boakai did not send not even his maybe his political advisor to the protesters to receive the petition. He did not even send his security advisor to go to the protest and receive the petition. He did not send his chief of office staff. That's complete disrespect to the people of Liberia. That's gross disrespect to the people who voted him into power. And that's why we see in African leadership where people, they come down to the people level to get their votes, and when they become president, they neglect the very people who stood up for them and voted for them. I think it is wrong. I think it's condemnable, and I think no leader in our country should be doing that to our people. When the people elect you to office and they tell you, say, we have an issue that I want to bring before you, you may not like the messenger, you may not like the message, you may not even like the faces that come before you, but you got to give them some audience and listen to the petition. And President Boakai did not do that today. And I think it was a failure on his part not to have done that. And I think he should know very well that the people who elected him are still the people who he's supposed to cater for. They pay his bills. They pay his hospital bill. They bought him the vehicle he's riding, the Lexus, the two Lexus he's driving in that cost millions of dollars. It is their money that bought those Lexus. His house that have been reconditioned, it is the people's money that gave him the reconditioned homes. When the people want to hear from you, you need to send a representative if you cannot get there in person. Let me close by saying this. Look, the Liberian people are suffering, Dennis, and there will be no messenger if there was not a message. And I agree with that, Emmons. If there's a message, it means that something is wrong. If the people's life are improved, there will be no message that we're discussing here for a protest. So President Boakai, I would advise him strongly, very strongly, that President Boakai should listen tonight to his advisors, and if the advisors are not giving the right advice, then he should revert to his own conscience and understand that the people who made him who he is today have the right to give him their understanding of how they feel their life is projecting. If it is not good for them, he has the right to listen to them and to address the plight. If they are not making sense in some areas, yes, let it go. Where they are making sense, address it.
Thank you. Jerry, you are muted if you're saying something.
Yes, I'm saying to that appears in that you also had today the Unity Party representative, Prince Starr, who is the chairperson on claims and petition at the House of Representatives. He was present there. You also have the chair on rules, order, and administration, one county district two lawmaker who are also present at the ground, but the protester refused to have presented their petition to the two lawmakers. Because I heard you say, the president did not send his special assistant, this person, that person, but you had the Unity Party lawmaker present there. He's the chair on claims and petition.
So
Just
can
give
I
me
come
30
in?
seconds. Yeah, just 30 seconds to respond to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, when protesters are protesting, they have their object in mind. The protesters said clearly that the object was the president of the Republic of Liberia. It's not the regime House of Representatives. It's not the House of Representatives that hijack power and use the people's money to oust a sitting speaker. No, they didn't go to speak to the speaker. They didn't go to speak to the House of Representatives, the regime House of Representatives, neither the regime senators. They went to speak to the president that they walk in water to vote for. And the president is obligated by the Constitution to receive the petition if they so choose to get to him. But let me say this in closing on this 30 seconds. Look, if they read the petition, it was submitted. If the petition is published in papers, like I just read from the papers, the local dailies, it is submitted. I think the president should take time to read it and to address the issues that they are raising because those issues are genuine.
May I say
Yeah,
something?
can I come in, Dennis?
No, Alice, go ahead.
Okay. So if the purpose of the petition is to be given to the president, and there is somebody there to receive it, and those who are spearheading the protest actually want to give it to the president, void of any kind of political motive, I think anybody who is present and willing to give it to the president should receive it. It doesn't matter whether the person is representative or low class person or whatever. Whoever is present should have received it. They cannot discriminate on who to receive it, who should not receive it. And this is why it boils down to. This is why it
Alice,
boils.
are you implying that the president sent the lawmakers to receive the protest?
That's what Mr. Maba is saying.
I don't think so. I don't think that is,
Well,
unless
okay,
Jerry
but
is
the
telling
point
me.
is,
Yes,
and the
yes.
president, okay, he's saying yes. Go ahead.
Mr. Ja, the reason I said that is Prince Tor is a Unity Party representative, and
Yeah,
the protesters are protesting against the government.
right.
So he's the chairperson on claims and petition. So he should be the right person
No,
receive
chairperson
that
in the
particular
petition for the
petition
House.
for
Not for,
on-wall submission to his government. I know when that petition is being received, he's going to send it to his government. He comes from the Unity
no,
Party.
no, that's an assumption, right? But President Bouakai did not designate him to receive it. And he doesn't work for President Bouakai. He works for the Liberian people, right? His constituent. So why
Dennis?
is he? Why is the legislative branch, trying to go and receive something on behalf of the executive branch? That doesn't make sense to me. But Alice, let's go back when June 7 protests, when they were presenting the petition. I think similar thing happened, right? And that's why I keep referring to Unity Party versus CDC. It's the same thing when Costa and the rest of the people went to present their petition. I think it was, I think the Jua Hotel or somebody, I don't recall, and Dr. Pearson, if you remember, came out and they said they were not even reading the petition because they wanted President Weah to receive it. Same thing happening today, Alex.
So at the end of the day, the protest was the petition was received, isn't it? Was
No,
it not received because they refused to give it to Joy Howard Taylor?
Yeah, that time they refused. They didn't give it. They didn't even read their statement. Today, what Jerry is reporting is they also refused to give it to the lawmaker because they want the president to get it.
So they put it in the papers, according
So,
to
so
Mr. Person. Well, so okay, so if it's
June
already in the
June June
paper,
7, June 7, the protester read their petition. Karen Costa read a petition.
did they give it to anybody?
No.
They refused.
Yeah, the formality, like what that appears was saying, as long as it's been read, is received by the government.
No, my question here is the same playbook of these two political parties. They're
Yes.
doing the same
Yes.
thing.
okay, so this is why I want to disagree with Dr. Pearson that these were not partisans that staged the protest. The faces of the people in front of the protest are seditious. We did not even see other political parties like we saw during the entire suffering. Okay? So if you have partisans that were in power and failed to do something, heading a protest, and in a policy mode get to the place and cannot give the petition because they want to do the same thing that the other party did before. There was, there was no point. It's the same cycle that keep repeating. The Liberian people, most of them were selling today. They went to find their daily bread. Okay? So those people that were staging the protest, of course they are Liberian people, but most of them were partisans. That's how I see it.
Does that matter?
Dennis, can I come in for a little bit because this is a very, very important issue here,
Yes,
and
sir.
and I think we can have some type of agreement or resolution as to how we proceed forward. Because the question is there a way or an approach in which a petition needs to be received? Is it written, documented anywhere that the process of the procedure is that every petition that a person bring forward, that the president must be there to receive it or a representative of his? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything anywhere written that say how a president must address a petition. However, on the other hand, it is correct that it looks better if the president doesn't attend, that he should send, and I say should and underline that, should send a representative. So if there is a petition, it can be received. But that isn't the only forum or the only venue where a petition needs to be received only when there is a protest. There are other ways of sending a petition. And once again, this is what we have to come to grip with because our society has not yet grown up to that place to look at the things that they have available to them and say, maybe one isn't going to work, two might not look good, but maybe let's go all the way to three and address it from three. Then if three doesn't work, then we'll come back to two and to one. That's what we need. A growing society, a mature society, a society that is more educated about these type of public gatherings and so forth. We need to come together to be able to come as a group, voice our opinion. Yes, the president may have error on his side because it looks good, the optics look good if he sends someone there to receive it. But we must come to grip with the fact that in this type of a situation, there are different ways to handle them, and let's not stick to one thing.
Thank you.
That we don't want our president looking bad internationally if he doesn't attend. But there must be other avenue that can be utilized.
Thank you. Uh, uh, Mr. Dukley, for the whole idea of protestation has been demonized in Liberia. By the time people are going to protest, they say, "Oh, protest is bad. because if you look at 1979 protests is what did XYZ to the country. So protest has a bad rap in the country, especially when you are in power. You demonize protest and make it look like it means that people are going to cause trouble, they're going to cause chaos. But protest in itself is a part of our democracy, correct? What makes a protest successful or unsuccessful? And if you look at those factors, will you consider today's protest successful? On mute, please. Unmute your mic, please. Mr.
Okay,
Duke, unmute your mic.
Sorry, yeah, sorry about that. You know, look, protest is a legal right, constitutional right of every Liberian. And before I can even talk about the success or the lack of it today in today's protest, I would like to push back a little bit on Dr. Amos and Dr. Pearson here. Look, the way things have developed post-war Liberia, um, these two political parties, the Unity Party and CDC, they are not the ones to be talking about these issues in the manner in which they are trying to do. And that's why I totally disagree with the message and the messenger. These are not new issues. These are not things that just pop up when Unity Party came to power. Like Dr. Pearson said, the suffering of the Liberian people is real. It is happening on a daily basis. I don't know if you heard about this one YouTuber, one social media influencer said to live in Liberia on a daily basis itself is a work, is a job, just to survive on a daily basis. That's how hard things have become. So protest, in order for protest to be successful, the protest has to be sustained. You have to have a sustained campaign of protest. Protests have brought results. We saw what happened in Kenya, Nairobi, when the protesters went in the street. What happened? The government changed. The government caved in to the demands of the protesters. So yes, protests work, but you see, the people who are now protesting today, like I keep saying, they were the same people a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago, they were in power. They not
Right.
they did not know that there was corruption. Were
And,
they
and
not
then,
were
and
they
Duke,
not
before you
accused of
continue,
corruption?
Duke,
Did they
before you
do
continue,
anything about it? Absolutely not. So
Duke,
that's why they are not the one to be
Duke, just to
to
add to
be
what you're
carrying this
saying,
message, and they are not genuine. They are not sincere. They are not real in their demands. All right, and so I'm not even sure if there's any constitutional provisions that allow the president to be the one to receive the petition. As long as it's coming to the Unity Party government, I think anybody should be able to receive that message. But the message is not a new message. It's not the message that we heard for the first time. No. Who on this platform doesn't know what they're asking for? You don't think the unity government know what they're asking for because it's coming from the unit CDC? Would that make a difference? I don't think so. Look, these guys are doing the very thing that unit CDC was doing. We have this mentality. uh, Unity Party comes to power, it's my time to eat. CDC Party come to power, no, you guys were there. So this is not going to take us anywhere. And it's about time the Liberian constituents, the electors, the electorate, they need to come to themselves. They need to come to their senses. They realize that we are as Professor Lumumba said, we are electing thieves and we expect them to be statesmen. That's not going to happen until we can really choose people who are genuinely going to serve our interests. This is not going to change, Dennis. So protest can bring result, but protest can only bring result when it's sustained and it's targeted. Just, I mean, all these things they are talking about. I mean, they are written, actually. There are laws that require the government to follow these things. When there are audits, the audit is supposed to be forwarded to the police, and the criminal charges can follow and what. These are all written in black and white in LACC and mandate and other places. So, but this is not. This is. I mean, As a matter of fact, from my understanding, today's demonstration, there were far fewer people there than previous ones we've had. I don't know how true is that. I didn't see it live, but that's what I heard. So
Less
if
than
that is
500.
the case, that tells you, look, this whole thing has a partisan flavor all over it in CDC, and that's it. And so, I mean, I wouldn't give any credence to anything CDC does now because they missed their chance. They were there, and for someone who was their head, what is it, George Manawia, even sports for which he's so popular, he did not even develop sports. Soccer, nothing, absolutely nothing. If anything, things got worse when he was in power because he did not pay the necessary attention soccer needs. And
Thank
so
you.
we as citizens of our country, we need to continue to hold people's feet to the fire and speak up and continue speaking up. But demonstration is everybody's constitutional right. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you are within the law. And I must say that probably the only positive aspect of this demonstration today was how the police exercised restraint in managing the crowd. That was probably the only positive thing I see. But
But
this is not going to change anything. You and I on this platform know that this petition means absolutely nothing in concrete terms. No, it
thank
doesn't.
you,
And so
Mr.
let's not
Dugley.
fool ourselves
Mr.
until
Dugley,
the Liberian electorate come to the realization that these two political parties are not going to be the one to do what we want them to do.
thank you, Mr. Dugley. You know, anytime we praise the police, it's like we are lowering the bar. Like, police supposed to brutalize, and if they don't brutalize, then they are good. But that's another issue. And I believe even feeding people is just showing up. It's like they don't even know what to do. But that Dr. Pearson here is the thing, right? Because the CDC wants to come to power. I mean, the failure or the shortcomings of the Waka government would not give CDC that platform by default, right? So I saw that it appears to me that even the protests today stand did not even try to mobilize because I believe they think that as long as people don't like Boakai, we are going against Boakai, they will join us, right? So Stan may have not even consulted other political leaders or political parties and pressure groups to do this. And this is our typical Liberian way of doing things. Does what we see today as the way the protest turned out, does that tell you that the Liberian way of doing things it may not always work. And maybe it's time now that people actually mobilize, people have to work, people have to bring people on board, educate people, create awareness for your protest instead of just assuming that people are going to join you because Walker is doing bad. Dr. Pearson.
Then yeah, Dennis, history have proven that the strongest protest and the most effective protest is spontaneous ones. The one that nobody coerces you to come out to protest, but you protest because you yourself have seen the hardship and the problem that you face
But
with,
somebody
and
must
you
create that awareness that there is
yeah,
hardship
no,
for you
yeah,
to
I agree.
come.
I agree. I'm just saying some of the most successful protests has been the one that's spontaneous, right? Like the one we saw in Egypt, Kenya, and other places. But again, let me say this: I'm not sure what I do keep going by the CDC. I strongly support this protest, and I've been in the vanguard supporting this protest. I'm not CDC that I do. There's no political party, not even my own political party I registered with the ANC that endorsed this protest. No. No political party endorse. No, there's no formal statement of a political party that says we endorse this protest. In fact, our student vanguard unification party at the UL, the LINSU, that I once served as president of my own high school and was part of LINSU by the time I was in high school, they all made a statement and said they do not endorse this protest. So this was not a popular protest from the political standpoint in terms of political party or student parties, or groupings
Is
supporting
that
it.
a failure of the organizer
No,
that
it's not
nobody
a failure of
endorsed?
the organizer. It goes back to my opening statement. It means the people do feel the pinch. The people feel that. Don't forget, this is not the only protest that have been attempted. If you remember, there was a protest attempted by Vandala Patrick, and some people talking about looking for a moral voice. Vandala Patrick is not any political interest whatsoever in any political party to go or to go support CDC or United Party or whatever party. He was just concerned about the rule of law and said, let the people come, let us go demonstrate to the Capitol and tell the people that we don't let them hijacking the speakership. But nobody went out there. Where was Dr. Duke then? Where was Alice then? Where was Dr. Emmons then? That was a credible voice. And yes, our constitution was being violated. And not only was it being violated, it came back to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, yes, our constitution was violated. These lawmakers went back and said that they're doing ratification of the violations of the law to make the illegal activity legal. Where were the moral voices? So I think it goes back to say, and I'll answer your question. Look,
They try to rally the Liberian people. That's the thing. You have to rally the people. They
the
have
people,
to understand the causes for which they are going in the streets.
when the people
If
ask,
they don't understand, they're going to go in the market to go sell.
Alice, when the people feel the pinch, you don't have to rally them. That's what I'm saying. When the people feel the pinch, we don't have to rally them.
Okay, so
I'm supporting all the things you all are saying here that it shouldn't be CDC, it shouldn't be United Party. Then I'm supporting you. I'm saying the people feel the pinch. That's why they came out on the street, because they were not like political partisans. You come out on the street. Nobody called me. My political Senate bearer did not even call me. He did not. He did not say, "Oh, let us go join this rally." No, he did not. So what I'm saying in short here is that, look, listen. The right to petition the government is clear in Article 17. It says they have the right to petition the government and to express their grievances to their government. The Constitution says it clearly. The only elected office in the country that the Constitution says clearly who is the head of government, it is the President of the Republic of Liberia who is the head of government. If the people want to petition the government, the president is the head of government. He receives and look, Dr. Amos, I won't put you on my back tonight for saying that there has to be a respect for the people, so that if the president cannot even make a presence felt, he should send his political advisor. He should send his chief of office staff. He should send someone and say, listen, for the respect of the citizens, let my presence be felt even by default. Let it be felt. And I think it is disrespectful to the Liberian people that when they want to express the constitutional rights, Article 17, where they says I will read it verbatim. All persons at all times in an orderly and peaceable manner shall have the right to assemble and consult upon their common good, to instruct their representatives, to petition the government or other functionaries for the redress of grievances, and to associate fully with others or refuse to associate with political parties, trade union, and other organizations. Nobody should be forced. Nobody should be coerced. But when the people decide that they want to come out, the president, who is the head of government, should respectfully, and I agree with Dr. Emmons here, honor their request. You may not satisfy all of their demands, but listen to their cause. And I see us repeating the mistake of CDC. Oh, and I see your protest, man. The people are just joking, man. This thing is not going nowhere. The attempt before protest did not hold. This won't hold. Even if there 200-300 people, this one held. This one took ground. This one saw the voice of the people got heard. The next one might be even bolder than this one.
Dr. Pearson, what do you think will happen next?
And Dr. Douglas, Mr. Douglas, talk about the sustainability, because if any action is not sustained, it will be like in Labrador we say Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Dr. Amos, what do we expect in the days and weeks ahead already? The stand is issuing an ultimatum that if you don't address our concern, we're going to be back in 14 days. What do you see for the next 2-3 months?
The
6 months?
the president should hurry up and preempt the demand by coming out in a few days and say, gentlemen, here is what I see. Here, these are your concerns you have, and this is how we can go about fixing it. That's what a good president does. But the fact of the matter is this: we must also take into consideration that the people that surrounding Boca, all of them do not mean well for Liberia. Okay? Because if you got people that are concerned about their nation, they will be concerned about picking up the trash in the street. They will be concerned about how they talk to their neighbors. They will be concerned about how they interact with the police officer. Then you know that you got true citizens in that country. And not put down the president all the time. Okay? That's how we're supposed to walk together in unity with each other. When we begin to disrespect the authority over us, it shows bad precedence. Okay? So now we got a learning curve to undertake here. Buckeye does not have all of the answers. But together, if we work together and put aside friendship and tribalism and I've been knowing him from high school, put all of those things aside and come together, who have the best interest for our nation to move it forward, Liberia will go further and faster.
Thank you. Alice, this is my last question, then we're going to wrap up. What we saw today is a complete dismissal. I heard when I made my social media rounds, I saw that a lot of government officials were very dismissive about the protest. Either these are guys who left power and they want to come back, or they have no legitimate claim. They are only angry. And let me read a few lines from the Dr. Josiah Joker, who is the director of the CSA, what he said. Let me read a few lines from there. He said, in the wake of the politically charged and baseless Enough is Enough campaign staged on July 17 by a band of well-financed obstructionists posing as patriots, I extend heartfelt best wishes for their short-lived spectacle of self-deception. These masquerading defenders of the people, quote unquote, who have fed fat on years of systemic decay, now tremble at the fearless enforcement of merit, order, and accountability. Their rage is understandable, for the ongoing civil service cleanup exercise is cutting deep into the entitlements and excesses that once propped up their illusions of power. But this is the essence of democracy. It is not the rule of noise, but the rule of law. My commitment to President Joseph Boakai's transformative vision remains unshakable. A vision built not on appeasement, but on constitutional rigor, fearless implementation, and a resolute reawakening of national values. And I have served my country for 50, and let me go down. Said to those who believe that a few hours of street drama and social media noise can derail the nation's march toward renewal, I say, enjoy your 24-hour fantasy. Take your selfies, rehearse your victimhood, celebrate your mirage. But know this, as of Friday, July 18, 2025, enough is enough would no longer be enough. And, and let me, he said, we understand your fear, for a just system terrifies those who fed off injustice. But Liberia will not be held hostage by metaphorical termites who bore into the foundation of national progress while pretending to cry for the house. The cleanup continues, the republic will rise, and we will not be deterred. This is the Director General of the Civil Service Agency. Why aren't we welcoming this dissent? Why aren't we welcoming people to protest as their right to do so? And then whatever thing they find, because we never see ourselves the way others see us. Is this arrogance or what is it?
Well, I may not, support all the wordings used. I think it sounds a little bit harsh, but people have the right to protest. It is their constitutional right. And there's nothing wrong with listening to people when they protest to hear what they have to say. Because at the end of the day, everything they are saying may not be bad. You can learn from some of them. They raise other issues that are affecting some of the Liberian people. It's not everybody that has position or everybody that is satisfied with the way things are going in the country. So sometimes when you are on the upper hand, people that are down, you don't really feel their pain. But the best thing to do is to listen, than to maybe be condescending or talk down. That's what I see
Mm.
in what he's saying. But yes, some of the things they are saying are legitimate. They're talking about tribalism. People, when we was in power, we saw a lot of people talking about Southeast. Everything was Southeast, Southeast. Even though I had a different view of what people were saying. We did not employ people at the time because they were from the Southeast. He basically employed people because they were seditious. And maybe it happened that majority of them came from the Southeast. But Southeast is now just one county. We got 5 counties. So some of the counties did not even receive employment. So those comments were not right at the time, but people held on to them. So today is the same thing.
Mm.
I was reading something and somebody talked about the same tribalism. And then they said, no, 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 no. But the other person is from Bapolu. Well, but Bapolu was lower. So it's just the same thing.
Mm.
It's a cycle that keep going,
Right.
never stops. People employ people because they are related or they are friends. They might be qualified in some instances, but qualification is there. But most of the reasons people come into government is because they know other people,
Thank
and
you.
that's the point.
Th-
So I think you should listen and take from what the protest was about. Take some things from in there that people are talking about, even though they are not the right messenger, the faces, there might have been people in the crowd that got, honest reason for marching. But the face of the protest is a turn off,
mm.
complete turn off. Once you see the face of Mobile Malu, you can just pack your stuff and go to the market because he had the opportunity. So this is where I stand with it. He can listen and take some good out and then walk away with the good and try to make it better. But all the other things they're asking for motorcyclists should be in the street, that what they call free movement. But they forget that these things can cause accidents. They can be moving from Broad Street to RIA Highway all over the place. There has to be some order in the city. So that's not what they call free
Thank you.
movement.
Thank you. Thank you. The action of the Director General, in my village, and I don't know how to say in English, but in my village they say, "Bojebo pena ye beswere." So because you find sleeping place now, so but anyway, let's conclude because these guys are in power now. Because all of them, I remember all of them because I covered these various demonstrations, even the ones that were held in DC, which Mr. Dr. Joka was a part. But now he said these other guys have no reason to demonstrate. Everything is good. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end here. But I want us to, conclude with the solution. Where do we go from here? What do we do next? Baka government is not perfect, and then, regardless of the phase of the protest, as Alice is saying, there are some issues that need to be addressed because they say even a broken clock can be right twice a day. Where do we go from here? Dr. Amos, let me start with you.
Very good.
Let's
Okay.
conclude with solution. Well, I mean, we can
Uh,
go on like this.
yes.
CDC, we jump between CDC and Unity Party, they playing football with us.
Okay. So let me say that this is the solution. As I said before, when the electric have grown up and begin to see the tricks that been played on them, they will, they will not fall for the same malaki, or for lack of a better word, they will not fall for the same trick. CDC and UP have ruled this country for almost 24 to 25 years. Okay, so now does the Liberian people want new and better leadership? It's going to be shown in their action. But in order for them to be able to choose wisely, whoever is going to be running for president will have to spend a lot of money in order to get the message across. And those who do have the money and get their message across, though it is faulty as it is, could end up being back in power. You know, and when
And let me mention, Dr. Amos, that you ran for president in the last election. I just want to mention that.
well, I campaigned for president, but what happened with my vice president on the day before we had to go to NEC to register, told me that he owed 36,000, which was a lie, and he came back to me and said, "Well, only 3,600." Whereas I told him that I wasn't born with president across my head, and so I called a press conference and decided to get out of the race because it was too late to get someone else. When I told him to go pay his $1,500 to the tax people and I'll pay the rest, and he told me, "But you want to be president, not I." That vice president pig talking like that. So my point here is this: that we who are in the media, we who people listen to, we who people who have interaction with a larger part of the society, must begin to work towards piecing together a message that will resonate with the Liberian people, and let them know that we cannot do the same thing again and again and expecting a different result.
Thank you.
So by doing having a message that is concise and sustainable, as Dr. Pearson said, then and then only will we be able to get a better type of governance.
Thank
Other
you.
than that, we'll fall prey to the same nonsense. And when you hear people in the street talking about, we can do this and we can do that, or you hear someone say, "Yeah, I'll give you $10 so that you can vote for me," those type of things need to be put down and say, we must not do these things ever again. And I believe by us beginning to tell the electric or the Liberian people that our focus now must be in on those who are going to come in and help the nation. But if you're looking for someone, like someone was
Th-
teasing me the last time by saying, "Are you coming riding a keke?" Because I rode a keke to speak at a gathering of 300 people. And I said, "Well, if I go ahead and go borrow money and get and buy a Rolls Royce and ride inside, and win the election because Liberian people say, 'Oh, Dr. Emma driving Rolls Royce, let's vote for him.' And I go inside there and I steal all of the money, then whose fault is
thank,
it?" That's why,
thank you.
let me end with this.
Thank,
That's why, excuse me, one second. That's why I put a, 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 a project together that say if I were to become president, the first thing I would do is to begin to contact my people. In the first year, I want to bring in $3 billion into that country. So I had to go in, write it up, make sure that people who see it will say, "Yeah, it's sound," and they will be able to give me the money. People will not
thank
give
you.
you money if you're not sitting in the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Between the Headlines. We are discussing the post-protest analysis. Let me go to Dr. Pearson and let me announce also that tomorrow is our Friday night debate. Uh, we are focused on Liberia. We are bereaved the father of Mr. Anthony Sia, the political bulldog. His father passed away, Mr. Anthony Nambwe Sia. Our condolences to the family. And
Yes.
also, we want to tell our friend and brother, our operation manager, Mr. Sia, never mind. Dr. Pearson, you're closing the way forward.
Yeah, my deepest condolence also. Thank you, Dennis, and thanks to my fellow panelists for the night. Listen, I think the protest today was a success for the fact that it went through despite the expectations of people that was going to be a flap. It wasn't a flap, and I think the plight of the people, which is legitimate concerns, reflecting the hardship and the suffering of the Liberian people, was expressed. And I think it will do the president good to pay attention, like Dr. Eman said. It is important that you listen as a leader and see to what extent you can address the concerns of the people, despite who the messengers and who providing the message, especially when it is the people who have elected you to office. And I think Josiah Joker statement is invidious. I think it's very invidious, and I think it's unfortunate for him as someone who came to power to that prestigious position he now holds on the back of the very same thing he's trying to speak down on today. It's a sad time for me to see that happen because these things do have a long-term impact. Power is transient, and by that we mean power change hands. So if you get up today and think you can talk down the exercise of the Article 17 because you feel you sitting in power, it's just possible tomorrow you may not be in that seat like Akaras Moses Gray and like
And
Jefferson
that,
Koje, and then you will be the one telling us to, there are legitimate concerns. Let us go talk for the people. At the end of the day, it is not us that suffer. We already have our little dollars that we can put food on our tables. At the end of the day, the people who suffer is not Malu by Malu. It's the people who cannot afford to send their children to school, who cannot afford to buy food to eat, who cannot afford to pay their rents, who kids are selling on the streets, who kids are doing drugs. These are the people who these things are impacting. And so if it doesn't matter whether it's Vandana Patrick who went to regroup because he was a legitimate voice that had no support, or it is more about Moru who has a political swing and he can bring people on the street to bring attention to the Liberian people plight. So we should say, no, our differences, we may have them, but our common denominator is Liberia, and the peace of our country and the good of our people is our common interest. Thank you very much for having me.
thank you. Thank you. Alice,
Well, I think, Liberian people need more independent minds. That's exactly what we need in a country. Our politics in Liberia is dominated by party loyalty. And because of that, people are not making right decisions, even when it
that,
comes to elections. They vote for somebody not because the person is competent or qualified. They vote for people because the person is from the party. And when we continue on this trajectory, Liberia is not going anywhere because it's like a recycle. We'll be recycling every politicians. CDC was in power. The same people that supported CDC, when next election comes, the same people will support again, regardless whether they did good or bad. The same people that supported Unity Party 12 years ago, the other time, they will still support when CDC comes to power today because they are loyal to the party and not individuals because they are competent. We need to change that in the country. We look at people, whether they're from from your party or from other party. If you find out the person is good and they can help the country, vote for that person. That's how you make change. By not getting stuck in one old party and continuously voting for people, recycling them over and over. Even when other people are qualified, they leave them and still go for the same party people. Every year, every elections. We need to change that. We want the country to change. We got other competent and qualified Liberians that can get in these positions and make the country to go better. The protest today, like I said from the beginning, when you read a petition, it has good things And so, regardless of the messengers, even though I will shoot a messenger anytime because they are not the right messengers, but again, look at what they are protesting about for the sake of the Liberian people, not those faces that are in the forefront. And do something about it, Mr. President. If we came to rescue, the Party came to rescue, even though I'm not a member, but I look at any good party, any good individuals doing good work, I would say it. Even though the Bwaka administration, I'm so happy about the rules, but the people are still suffering that you came to rescue. So we need to look at the petition and look at things that we can change. If it is corruption that's still killing the country, do something about it. So that's my message for the night. Thank you, and I'm glad I took part tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Dukley.
Yeah, thank you, Ellis. And I want to say thank you to my fellow panelists, even though I'll join you guys a little later. See, Dennis, I just heard something on this platform tonight that just drives me nuts. Dr. Dr. Amos just narrated to us an experience he had, he and his vice president. And what that says to me is that reflects on all the politicians in Liberia. People are not genuine. People are not sincere. People are not. They are not willing to be part of it so that they can make a difference. They are only in it for what they can put in their pocket. And that's just a very, very good example of what you just told us now. I mean, how can somebody be so dishonest to someone that you consider your running mate? But you have to remember that's the mindset, that is the mentality. You might have been there with sincerity and you're genuine, and yet this person has their own agenda. I mean, you wait until the 11th hour and then he tells you. What does that tell you? You know? But that's the kind of people we have in our country. These are the people. We got people in Liberia who mean well, who are genuine in their intention. We don't elect them because they do not gain traction the way we see them, or maybe and Dr. Booty from England always said, I blame the Liberian people for electing Joseph Walker. They made a mistake. And it's true. But you see, you have to take into you have to put this in context. It's the same thing that happened in the great United States. People were not voting because Donald Trump is extraordinary. Donald Trump is a felon. But because things were not going with Joe Biden, they decided to go with him, even though with all his flaws. So we are facing the same scenario in Liberia now. Even though the terrible thing that CDC did, all the things that we know that they did, but because of the dismal performance of the Unity Party, people are going to, whatever they say might resonate with them. So all I'm saying here is that we have to keep holding these people feet to the fire. They are not in it for nobody. They are in it for themselves. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the suffering of the people. Dr. Pearson, you put it rightly. The people suffering is real. Go to
Right.
Monrovia, go to the interior and see how people are living today. I mean, things are just deteriorating from one regime to another. I mean, when are they going to have some empathy for these people? When are they going to feel for these people? I mean, look, we this is not sustainable. The status quo is not sustainable. We have to keep talking about this. We got to make sure that we talk about it as long as we have breath in our bodies.
Thank you. On that note, we're going to close our broadcast. We never close any broadcast without playing the song that says, whether you agree with the protest or not, whether you think the messenger and the message, they all bad, or we should even throw away the baby with the bathwater, we are all Liberians. What is incumbent upon us is to do our very best to make our country the glorious land of liberty. Have a good night, and may God bless you.
We are Labira. Labira is our home. Labira people. Ile yubete awiwa. Labira oh. Ile yubete awiwa. Labira mi labira.